All right, and we are recording. Welcome to Session 8. Who would like to do the retelling for this evening? And then after the retelling of the previous session, I want to just give an overview of all the sessions so far so that we can have a good understanding of where we are, because this is a really nice transition point here. If this was a Game of Thrones show, this would be where we break from Season 1 to Season 2. So this would be the premiere episode of Season 2.
Yeah, I can give the recap. So we started in the middle of combat with the general his name was CM Bichet, right? So we were in combat with him and his cat troopers. We managed to successfully get out of that combat, largely by Masashi essentially convincing CM Bichet that it was in his best interests to discontinue what he was attempting to do, since he was kind of strapped to a raft and riding down a whirlpool to his certain death. So yeah, we kind of had him between a rock and a hard place. Masashi capitalized on that, got kind of a ceasefire of sorts. In the immediate aftermath of the combat, several of the members of our team, I believe predominantly Nergili and Masashi, kind of pulled CM Bichet aside and pumped him for information a little bit, and mended some fences. Meanwhile, Heldren started seeing some weird vision of the same ghost that had touched his chest, or spirit, or zombie, or whatever it was, sitting over by the other end of the reservoir. So he went and checked that out, along with I'm spacing her name, the chick with the huge spear and the large bow, like Galea or something like that.
Galista.
Okay.
Like ballista.
Yeah, you can remember it as Giant Ballista. Galista.
Fair enough. All right. So yeah, they went over and checked that out. They found out that at the bottom of the reservoir there was some script written in a bardic language, but it was mostly nonsense. While all this is happening, Draven, of course, had frankly just basically disappeared, and was in possession of the spear, which CM Bichet was still kind of making a whole big deal out of. But we steadfastly maintained that we did not have it, although we eventually kind of used it as a carrot to dangle in front of him, that if he would agree to go northward with us, that we could guarantee that he would return with it. So that was enough to get him to at least agree to accompany us northward. As we went northward, we found two bridges, one relatively new and in kind of a state of disrepair or shoddy-ish workmanship, and the other was a very well-made bridge, but it matched the coordinates that Heldren had previously seen for where the shield should be. And sure enough, there was kind of a divot in the bridge, and when we went to CM Bichet looking for some background on this, he did say that yes, that the shield had been here, that Gunther's mother had in fact essentially thrown down her shield there to create a barrier that nobody could pass, so that she could assist the slaves to the south. This, of course, prompted us to ask him where the shield was now. He did not know, but he said that perhaps we could seek out General Takakamas, who I believe was the general who was stopped by that shield. And that's essentially where we left off. We know that Takakamas lives in Jaipur, so presumably that's our next step.
Excellent. An excellent retelling. So just giving some sort of background on everything that's gone on so far. The primary agenda of the Faythen'oc, at least the Faythen'oc bards, is that, to your knowledge, and from what you've been informed by your people, an ancient enemy of the the old Faythen Empire is waking up, is sort of coming out of death. Really, is resurrecting. This enemy is Aphthis. They are far, far to the west, and not really anywhere close. But your crew has been putting together some kind of big monument. To Heldren, it was described as a monument to generate belief energy. To Draven, it was described as a weapon. But you both have been tasked with seeking out Daru's shield, imbuing it with magic to make it an attractor for whatever it is that this great monument will output, and then to deliver it to the west, where the bard Harving is traveling with Daru's son, Gunther. In possession of her shield, Gunther should be able to awaken its power and make it a powerful attractor so that the energy can be drawn to it without dissipating over distance. To that end, you have pursued the shield north, following rumors and legends and psychically acquired memories, and until coming upon this bridge, where you have found your most recent clue, which is that, as you just said, where's his name there? General Takekamas, the Failure, who earned the title the Failure specifically for the battle involving the shield. He was the last person involved with it, and there is definite signs that the shield was forcibly pried up out of the bridge at some point. Although your newest follower, General Siambachet, has mentioned that the shield was blocking the bridge for 2 years before it was able to be pried out, completely preventing traffic and necessitating a second bridge to be built slightly downstream. And that's roughly where you left off. He had agreed to, when you guys get to the Jaipur capital, to go and speak with the Lord there, as he has diplomatic contacts and has sort of a history of relationships with him. And so you've traveled north. Your papers did grant you quite a welcome, as your traveling papers declare you to be great heroes who found the spear that had been, long had the Jaipur province been accused of having stolen it. And so they are pleased to welcome you as people who have proven their innocence. Of course, the entire thing is fabrication, but nobody knows that yet.
I mean, it's not really. I mean, we haven't returned it. We did uncover the truth.
Yeah, no, that's true. You uncover the truth, you just haven't revealed it to anyone yet.
Right. It's a truth of sorts.
We did recover the spear. We did.
Yeah, I mean, even if they know we have it, it's like, I mean, you guys don't have it.
Well, the paper indicates that you delivered it to Hypo, so...
That could be fact, and we just still have it.
We're just taking a really long time to returning it.
No, we delivered it, and then we took it back. It's not a problem.
We did leave it in the stockroom at the inn. We left it there. We left it in Hypo for a time.
The road north goes immediately from the river back into forest. And it stays in forest for quite some way. At the end of the day, you find yourself still in forest, but approaching it's not a small house. It's quite a large structure. Not super well made, but, resilient. Not a Faythen'oc work, but definitely better than most of the stuff you've seen around here. And there are plenty of cats tied up out front of it, as well as just regular carts parked around it with various goods. You even see some oxen grazing in a field nearby. It is a small field, just a tiny clearing, as forest surrounds this area quite densely. But there's light and laughter and song coming from this building, which appears to be some sort of tavern or inn as a waypoint, a stop along the road. Positioned such that travelers will find themselves here at nighttime. this is an ideal lodge. However, as you approach it, you also see signs that it is more than just an inn, but is in fact also a point of hunting. Many hunting trophies adorn the place. Antlers, claws, teeth. So it looks like that in addition to being a stopping point for traders traveling the road, this is also a place where hunters gather and then travel out into the woods in all directions, seeking game.
This is like a wonderful place to stop. There's could be much great stuff here.
The General Saim Bichet points out that if all of you had riding cats, you guys could actually probably move much faster and get on further. But since he's the only one, he suggests that you guys stop for the night and rest.
So yes, we do not have riding cats. I'm not aware how to ride a cat, although I am intrigued.
Do you think there's a way of acquiring these riding cats? They look majestic.
He says, if we were to go much further, it would be, probably a necessity to make any kind of decent time. But as it stands, we probably only have another 2 days worth of travel before we'll get to the Jaipur province on foot. And so saving maybe a half day by being on riding cats might not really be worth it. They do definitely allow you to go much further than you would by foot, letting you travel longer. But the cats themselves, they don't have a great deal of endurance. They move in short sprints. They'll dash a few miles and then rest for an hour, and then dash a few miles and rest for an hour.
If we want to travel longer distances, we should just get a cart with some oxen. That's the standard way.
I'll say, yes, so they have those here.
There are oxen grazing in a field here. Looks like they probably belong to somebody, but, you are Faythen'oc, you have your ways.
Oxen are also much cheaper than giant saber tigers, I imagine.
Yeah, the riding cats are kind of high-end and elite. The fact that there's so many parked around here is actually kind of interesting to you, as your character knows that these would be expensive, meaning there's some people here who've got some coin on them. Possibly nobles out for a hunting trip, or possibly some very wealthy merchants who are showing off.
My understanding of merchants and nobles is that they like nothing more than the flattery of themselves, their bloodlines, and their ancestors. Perhaps we could find some common ground with them.
Entering into the establishment, the songs are lighthearted and cheerful. There's a great deal of alcoholic beverage being served. It seems to be mostly brewed from citrus fruits. This would be consistent with this area's economy, as as you get north from here, much of the agriculture is actually in the form of orchards.
So they drink ciders here.
Some ciders, but also because of the climate here, this is a really good place for Talus equivalents for oranges, pineapples. You're a bit out of the jungle, but not so far that you can't have a good orange grove. But yes, there are ciders available here, if that is what your character prefers.
It's just a curiosity to him.
Yes,
He prefers everything.
Yes. Is there some kind of desk or anything that we where the main place where people are getting drinks from and stuff is?
So the drinks seem to be being handled by a bar, where it looks like this is sort of a family establishment, and the bar is currently being handled by the older children, One of the younger children is at what looks like a desk for signing in if you need room. And then traveling the bar is a matronly-looking woman who is talking to customers, making sure everybody's having a good time. Reminds you a lot of the heroic hostesses of Faythen'oc, but, just downplayed a little bit.
Yeah, Miss Sashia will walk up to the bar. It's a great evening, isn't it?
With a cheerful voice, he says, "Every evening is a great evening here. Welcome to the South Hunt Inn. What can I get for you?"
It is not what you can do for me is what I can do for you. I have traveled across a lot of the Faythen'oc land, and I have had renown in much of it for my ability to make beverage teas. And I, of course, like to enjoy showing off my skills. I was wondering if I could make a trade of, if I'm able to impress everyone in this bar, I'm able to maybe purchase into getting some of your fresh ingredients.
That sounds fascinating. Why don't you tell me more? He seems to somehow be absolutely paying attention to you while simultaneously ignoring you and serving drinks to 3 other people. You're fairly certain he didn't actually hear a word you said and is just saying generic things that help conversations keep going.
Yes, and I will continue talking. Yes,
Awesome. You end up having a wonderful conversation with him, and probably at some point you order a drink.
yeah.
Let's see. Nergui?
Yep.
There is a guy in here that you recognize. He's over in a corner. He is from a basically like an Underground Railroad kind of ring that you associated with in the past. So you know that he's a guy that runs people south. He is trying to be inconspicuous and have a drink. He's not making a fuss, not greeting anybody, just hanging out in a corner.
I will do the same, and I will not speak with them.
Cool. Anyone else want to do anything?
Yes, I will ask for I'll say that those lands that we saw as we entered with the oxen. I'm curious to know who owns those lands.
Whom are you asking?
Probably the barkeep.
Okay. You find a similar thing to Tice. He says, I'm not sure, but if you have oxen that you need, farmed out, just visit the stables, and my brother will help you out there. And then he sort of just goes on his way, like addressing people, serving them drinks. Very focused on his task. He doesn't seem easily distracted.
All right, then I will go focus on his brother.
Outside of the stables, you find probably the oldest of the children that you've seen so far, and an elderly man that you would assume is either like a father or grandfather of the kids that are running the bar.
All right, I'm gonna go with the older dude. I'm just gonna say hello there.
Greetings, traveler. Welcome to our establishment. Do you have a mount you wish us to put up for the evening?
No, actually, I've actually come here with a question. I saw some fields as I entered, and I saw it was a field of oxen. I'm curious as to who owns them, as I believe they may be interested in a business proposition I have.
Oh, it's a trading team inside. There's actually a couple groups here, so I can't rightly tell you which oxen is which without looking up their tags, but if you're looking for the owners, yeah, go in and look for the merchants there. They've been traveling through with their caravans. Getting ready for the harvest, I'm sure.
Yes, of course. So, okay, thank you for your assistance.
Of course, traveler. Be well in your journeys.
And you as well.
And Draven, what would you like to do?
I want to rest more than anything because I'm still pretty beat up. So I'm probably just gonna find. I'll probably just inquire about rooms. So there's some desk to talk to.
Yeah, there's a small child at a sign-in desk for rooms, who asks for your name and your papers. It's almost
him-
adorable seeing like a tiny child trying to act like an adult running it in.
Okay. I give him a name. I don't know, something not mine. John. So it even sounds made up. And then I assume what are the papers you request?
He's basically asking for your traveling papers. It's kind of like asking for a driver's license. It's a similar sort of concept. Like before he signs you up for a room without taking payment, he wants to confirm who you are so that you won't go wandering off without paying for services.
I see. I assume I have papers then. I'll show him papers.
The papers that you do not have John written on them, though.
They don't have a name written on them at all, do they?
Oh, they do, in fact. I assume, anyway, that your companions put your name on it when you went through with the guards. They could have put any name on it they wanted to, actually. I mean, it's not like anyone in this area knows what your actual name is, so it might say John if that's what Ed had written on them.
I mean, Ed never saw me. He may have just written a name down.
He may have, yeah.
Actually, here, I'll read my papers and what name is on there. And Ed, you can tell me.
Some fantastic made-up name, then. Perhaps it's John. And upon seeing your papers, his eyes widen. He goes, "Oh, a hero! Are you really the one who found the legendary spear?"
I am one of many.
He goes, "Wow, you need a good room."
Any room will do.
So after doing some scribbling in the book, he grabs the key off the wall and takes you by the hand and leads you upstairs to a really pretty nice room.
He takes me by the hand.
He's excited. Like, you're a hero. He's dragging you up the stairs. Like, here, you get this room. And then you can totally crash. This is a quality 6 room. This is actually really nice. It looks like they don't have a lot of these really good rooms. Most of the rooms you passed look pretty shitty, like quality 2. But this is like a room for special guests. And he's putting you in it. Additionally, if you do nothing else and you just want to spend the entire evening resting instead of interacting socially, you can get an extra 2 to the quality of your rest. But you might miss out on some intrigue.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that. I don't mind missing out on things. The tax recovery might be actually super beneficial. So quality 6 if I rest, and 2 more if I basically zonk out.
Yep.
I should probably just take the 6 just in case I'm needed for anything. So I'm basically I'm resting and I'm able to be attended to if need be.
All right, so you have your room. You I don't suppose you have a lot of like luggage that you're loading in, really, but you have your room. You have your room key, and so you can go up there and rest whenever you're done, and you proceed back down.
Perfect.
Tice, having had a lovely conversation with the bartender, although not sure that the bartender remembers any of the details, it was definitely an enjoyable time. Is there anything else you'd like to do while you're here?
Is there actually an area that looks like it goes into? Is there like a kitchen area around here, or like
Absolutely. It does not appear to be meant for the public to enter, but then again, you are Faythen'oc.
Yeah, I'll look to see if anyone's like going back or forth inside out of the door to the kitchen. I was like,
there's near constant activity as various men and women of all ages in pretty much identical looking outfits, so probably like the uniforms for the staff, are just going in with empty trays and coming out with full trays. The variety of meats seems to be rather impressive. There's whereas the previous towns that you were in were primarily a root-based economy, there actually seems to be quite a variety of different animals available for sampling here.
yeah, I'll just step through the door for a moment and be like, excuse me, are you the cooks here?
One of the women stops you and says, "Oh, poor dear. Need to work for your supper?"
Oh, not work for my supper, but I enjoy helping out. Perfected my tea drinking, my skills with tea, as well as I've done some confection, some meals along the way. I've been just using my talents to help inns along the way on my journey. Possibly for some trade of some fresh ingredients.
She sort of tilts her head, trying to process what you said, and says, "So, you want to make tea as payment for your supper?" You're pretty sure she doesn't get what you said, but she understands that you want to make tea instead of have it served to you, which is something typically, people who offer to work in the kitchens are doing it because they can't afford to pay for their food.
Oh, I'm okay for paying for my food. I would like to work so I can take a few of your fresh ingredients. I've not been in this area before, and I would like to experiment with the local drink and fauna.
She shrugs in total lack of comprehension and hands you a uniform. Says, "All right," and she points to a couple tables in the back. Says, those are your tables. Go see what their orders are," and she puts you to work.
Okay.
Just take tea over to them and be like, "Here's your tea." It's like, "But I didn't order tea." It's like, "I don't care."
It's like, don't worry. Yeah.
The way he makes tea would be like, "I didn't order tea," and like, "Yes, but you'll have wanted to once you taste the tea."
Yeah.
There's like a steakhouse restaurant or something that only served medium rare steaks. They had a big menu with a bunch of other stuff on it, and you ordered what you wanted, and then they served you a medium rare steak.
Yeah, but like my style is I'll go to the tables and like just be like, it's like yeah, I'm working just to show my skills across the thing. Just tell me what, like, a few ingredients that you enjoy, and I'll promise you that I'll bring you back something amazing. Like, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and do an artistry plus an empathy. See how impressed your guests are. Maybe you'll learn some tips.
Artistry.
The idea is to impress them, right? Oh, it could be crafting.
Well, it was more for flavors and stuff. It has nothing to do with the appearance. Like, it might look.
Yeah, artistry is not necessarily visual arts. Artistry is being creative, whereas crafting is more about knuckling down and doing the work, following the procedures it's supposed to be applied.
Oh, okay.
Which is excellent for tea, because tea is absolutely about following the procedure. The tea ceremony has to be done with precision.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're trying to, like, ratatouille their perfect flavor and put them in a dream state of awe and bliss, that would probably, artistry would definitely roll against a lower difficulty number there.
Okay. And I can spend XP anytime, right?
Yes, you can.
So let's see here. It's for the composure, endurance. It's 5 points per 1 point I want to spend to activate a talent.
Yes.
Okay, then I'm spending in 10 endurance so I can lower my threshold.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, with omniscience. And then which see if any of my traits here: hard worker, honest, or respectful.
Hard worker, definitely.
Yeah, and
you're waiting tables for an evening. Like, this doesn't get harder work than that.
Yes, and then my pips for smelling and tasting will apply to this roll.
Absolutely. Right? Yep. While he's doing that, it's cool. Oh, there it is. Of course. Yes, you bury the needle on that, and you earn a fair amount of coin there. So you have basically a pouch of the local imperial currency, and it's right now has a. Do we call it quality or quantity? It's got 6 dice worth of coins in your pouch now, as you've earned a lot of tips from performing some really, really amazing cooking. That's going to take you most of the night to do, but yep.
Do I need to roll anything for tea, or because I'm like I'm offering them a tea and drink or food?
You can, but yeah, I mean, you go ahead if you want to. Tips are typically based on the worst part of the dining experience, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And your tea is probably going to, like, bury the needle even higher, but yeah, give it a try. Bear in mind the risk. If somehow your tea rolls lower than a 6, then you'll be taking the lower of the two. Patrons are fickle. Ed, you see, yeah, that's basically what I expected to have happen. So yeah, you have 6 dice worth of coins in your new coin pouch of tips that you've earned. Coins that perhaps you can spend at a market, getting rare and interesting ingredients. The idea of currency is a little foreign. The fact that these guys are giving you roughly identical coins that all have the same picture on it is just kind of confusing. But they seem to be quite magnanimous about it. They are acting like they're doing you a great favor.
Yeah, I can use these to purchase ingredients and stuff at the market. Is that what these are for?
Yeah, the patrons are like, well, of course, that's what money's for. The other servers and the woman running the kitchen are quite jealous, actually, that you're getting such good tips. Ed, from across the bar, you can see that Masashi is serving that contact of yours at his table, bringing him delicious smelling meats and things. Eventually, he spots you. He doesn't come over, doesn't do anything. He just very subtly nods to you, raises a glass, smiles. He seems to be getting fairly sloshed and just relaxing.
Cool. Yeah, I'm having the same experience. I'm just going to sort of sit down, take my backpack off, get my scrolls out, and start digging through. I'm going to start digging through the scrolls that I have and looking up contacts in this area.
The major contact in this area is, his name is Snow on the Branches. He is kind of a rebel leader, although his leadership skills you would only describe as decent. Mostly what he's good at is stealth and combat. He's a just really good stealth operative who's sort of got thrust into a leadership position by being the last man standing a few too many times.
Fair.
He's not bad at it. I mean, he gives it his best. He generally wants to be a good leader for the local resistance. And so, yeah, he's trying his best. His social skills are awful, which hinders him a bit. But he's got a decent head on his shoulders, and he's got a good heart. And a lot of people sort of follow that. They say, yeah, his heart's in the right place. He is one of those guys who, in a room full of people who agree with him, will still start spouting all of the political stuff that they all already agree with. They don't really need to have it said, but he'll just go on rants as though he's talking to people that disagree with him.
Fair. Well, I will.
If you get into a scrape, though, he's the guy you want on your side.
I'm going to try and get into a conversation with my contact, mostly about the situation, the reason that we're here, from my view.
Okay.
But I'm not in a rush.
This contact here is not Snow on the Branches. This is a guy that you know. Snow on the Branches would be probably a couple days north near the capital city.
That's fine. I'm just going to go basically give this guy a heads up what's going on, because I might need his assistance.
Okay. He says, well, that's fine, you know. Have a seat. Join me. The food here is amazing. I had no idea.
I say, I'm actually here under a sort of legal situation this time, not kind of within the confines of the law. There's a woman who was falsely indentured. I'm kind of looking for her whereabouts, maybe her current owner. I give her the details.
He says, oh, I know that woman. That's Leaves in the Stream. Yeah, no, she's been actually reaching out to our organization. It's weird. She's not been just fleeing. She hasn't run away and has tried to hide with us. She's been reaching out to make contact with us and then going back to work. The snow on the branches are no more. He seems to talk to her at least once a week.
Okay, and he's in the capital.
He's at a camp outside of it. There's an abandoned orchard. The crops didn't take. I think they overproduced, taxed the soil.
Okay. Well, thanks for your assistance.
Yeah, he gives you basically a route to get to there.
Well, I thank him for his assistance and say,
yeah, no, I'm happy to help.
won't be causing any trouble this time.
We just finished a major run. We got a bunch of people through, so I'm just relaxing, waiting for the heat to come off. So you may have passed him, actually. They were disguised as a caravan of merchants.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what these guys are doing. I'm with the obvious warriors.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, you've got that half covered then. So I guess you're in a good spot to try your legal mumbo jumbo.
I hope so. I
hope it works for you, he says. And if you need more help, I'll be around. Like I said, just finished the job, got nothing to do for a bit. Taking myself a well-earned break, I am. Oh, he says, be a little wary heading north, though. There's a new magistrate come in. Not after us. She's there to make trouble for the crime lord, Moon in the Rain.
Any particular thing he's been up to that's caused trouble? And also, is he friendly with us?
I wouldn't call him friendly. He's a businessman. He always wants to get paid. And he's as much a cause of people getting endangered as he is a solution. I'd put him in the gray area, neutral. Useful sometimes as a tool, but a man to be aware of.
I like people that like to get paid. They're predictable.
And that is true. He isn't up to any new tricks. The new trick is this magistrate that the Lord of Jaipur has brought in to root him out. He's always stayed pretty cozy behind his lawyer, who's made sure nothing that he's done has been directly incriminable. But apparently, Mivo Pakasha, the Lord of Jaipur, has gained favor with the Emperor, and the Emperor has sent one of his personal, imperially trained lawyers to be magistrate for the province. A really scary woman by the name of Sis Jude.
I say, now that I think about it, I need a favor, a bit of equipment. Do we have any inconspicuous, obviously not weapons? Like unarmed weapons. So I'm looking for something like a steel rod / brass knuckles / bear claw kind of thing. Something that's like basically like an unarmed weapon that just is like not obviously a weapon. Like a little blackjack type thing.
He grins one of those wicked grins and says, now you're talking my language. So I got a few things here and a few things up in my room.
I need something. I need something I can carry around that's not going to cause me to not be able to go through checkpoints.
You feel a slight bump by your leg, and there's a bag in amongst your various bags of papers that wasn't there before.
I think.
In it is what you would kind of describe as a brass knuckle if you hold it the right way, but if you're not holding it that way, it's a hair comb.
Okay. I thank him. I put the hair comb in my hair. And in return, I give him a small bamboo box with travel papers I've been traveling with. Blank travel papers.
Ah, yes. Thank you. That'll surely save us some time for the next round.
They're it's like they're drafted. I paid a good penny for these. Corlanthi artist, I say. They're more official than the real thing.
A moment later, and they've vanished from sight. It's not even clear where they've gone. Let's see.
I like this guy.
What quality is this brass knuckles thing?
It is quality 4, which is uncommon for this province. If being used as something other than a weapon, it's only going to be quality 2. But yeah, when it comes time to actually punch someone in the face, its delicate nature is a complete sham. It's actually stainless steel, made to look like intricate filigree.
You can give it a property. There's a property for that. It's called like shit. What is it called? It's one that basically makes it have no quality if it's not used for its intended purpose.
Okay, yeah, that's basically it.
I'm selling the properties right now. That's where my head's at. So.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go so far as say like no quality, but maybe reduced quality, because it's it is a hair comb, just not a really good one. It looks cheap. It looks tacky. It's not going to help you very much in a social situation. But when you absolutely need to punch somebody and have it leave a scar on their face in the shape of a comb, this is the weapon.
Cool.
Typically, gear in this area is only quality 2, so it's pretty nice to see something that high quality. He does look a little drunk, though. He might not otherwise have parted with it. He's just enjoying this food so much. Let's see. Meanwhile, Heldren, you've returned to the inn.
Yes.
You see Masashi is waiting tables. One of those tables actually has Nergui sitting at it with some other guy that you don't recognize. Draven is nowhere to be seen, but that's pretty par for the course. Galista, Sinlin, and Radiko, and General Siem are all at a table. They're being served delicious meats.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
bar is full of people. There's people all over the place.
Are there any obvious merchants?
Yes.
Okay.
It looks like there's 2 groups of merchants that are denoted by some kind of color scheme on their tunics. They're intermingling, chatting with each other, making bets, playing games against each other. They seem fairly competitive.
Okay. I will approach Nergui and interrupt this conversation and ask him what's their deal.
I put a nice brass comb into my hair and say, I'm sure I don't know. I say.
Okay. I'm gonna go seek out CM Bichet and I'll ask him what's their deal.
He's merchants, I'm sure. It's off season for some of the fruits, but it's a good season coming up for some of the crops to the south. They're probably here as a stop on their way south, and then they'll head back north again.
And we're heading north, correct?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna fly blind here. I'm gonna walk up to him. I was like, hello, are you rival merchants?
They laugh at that and say, "Oh, of course."
Yeah, yes, a good-natured rivalry. Nothing brings out the best in people quite like that.
The sort of the bosses of the caravans come over and approach you, saying, "Competition is good. Keeps the salesman sharp."
Yes, keeps everyone sharp. Salesmen, warriors, hosts, cooks, writers, everyone. It's a universal fact.
They are in total agreement.
Yeah.
And they toast to it.
Yes, cheers to that. Are they drinking the tea?
Not really. No, they're drinking
Okay.
other stuff.
All right, fair enough. All right, I'll say. So, where are your caravans headed off to? Are you heading down to the Faythen'oc territories?
Ooh, man, now that's a trip. I don't think I was going to head further than High Po. Come in on the season for beets and potatoes, and then make our choice: east, west, or north. And they kind of chuckle at each other, and then they both say together simultaneously, "North, of course."
So, yes, we are traveling north. We are traveling north right now. We come from the south, of course. We're actually just in Hypo. We are great heroes there.
Then you left too early, he says. The potato harvest has quite the festival.
Yes, of course. Potato. Do I know what a potato is? I probably know what a potato is. Right?
You saw some when you were down there. Yeah.
So we saw potatoes down there. An interesting food. I enjoyed them. Say, I don't suppose either of you could be persuaded to take a detour to the north, perhaps.
They sort of chuckle and says, obviously, you're from Faythen'oc province, means you're a little bit new up here. The harvests in the north don't happen until after the harvests in the south, so it doesn't make sense, for us to go up there and then wait out, miss an entire harvest, and then go south with food that we don't have a market for.
Of course. I do understand that such an arrangement will require compensation, which, of course, I'm prepared to offer. Could you perhaps loan out just one singular cart?
So look at each other and like, And what you see now is that you have suddenly become a customer, and now that they're in a competition with each other over who gets the customer to sell the cart to. And so one at a time, they start sort of leaning into different deals. Like, I could part with a cart. It does mean I'm not going to be making, as much money because I'm not going to have as many carts to drag potatoes north. Says, but I think if I was compensated enough, that could make up for it. Perhaps I can buy another cart in Jaipur. And so, yeah, they're basically trying to haggle with price with you, except that they're also trying to undercut each other.
Yeah. I'll say yes. With the stonework that I'm capable of producing, you could easily purchase another cart. You could double your cart investment. I don't really know what those words mean, but I've heard them.
At the work of stone carving, they get kind of confused, like, and then one of them realizes, oh yeah, they don't use money down there.
So yes, but I am a heroic stone carver. I am capable of producing epic poems and stone carvings of a quality that will absolutely blow your mind, and that attributed to your company would surely raise your prestige. And you would enter into Faythen'oc lore as the noble merchants who aided us in a historic mission, which, should you ever decide you wish to venture down to Faythen'oc and trade in our wares, would surely be a great boon to you.
The one in the red and gold tunic sighs and goes, poets. Pass, and then he wanders off. But the one in the blue and green tunic stays and he says, pay no attention to him. I've heard legends of what your people can do. Let's sit down and talk business.
Say, okay, and I get out my notebook and I'll say, this is the start of an epic tale, so I must write it.
So this is going to be you're rolling trade plus one of your skill or one of your aptitudes, and which one you pick will determine sort of how the conversation goes. Well, how do you want to make your arguments? Do you want to produce goods for him before you make the deal, or do you want to talk it up? What's your sales technique here?
I'm willing to produce something beforehand. It's basically. I mean, I'm so confident in my own ability that I know if I know anything that I produce is gonna like blow his mind. So I'm willing to produce. I'm not willing to give him everything, but I'm willing to produce something.
Okay, so that would probably be trade plus empathy, since you're going directly for his personal desire to have something awesome that's Faythen'oc made.
Well, that's good because my trade is 0. So am I actually? So am I basically like starting with basically like a short? I guess it'd be kind of like a free-form poem, just describing his merchant company, and I'm gonna kind of ask him to describe their history to me. So I'll have some kind of background of who founded the company, under what daring circumstances, what kind of treachery have they gone up against and conquered, and I want to dress it up into basically like a really, really riveting short story. And then
Okay.
when he's done explaining this to me, I'd like to present it to him.
Okay. He's trying to be sort of mathematical about his arguments as to what the price is. He's trying to calculate what it is, and he keeps getting caught up in your story. So playing empathy against his cunning, you've given him a threshold penalty.
Cool. And can I actually produce this work and use that as like a helper to my trade roll?
Yes, you can. Go ahead and make a crafting roll, whatever it is you do for that. I think it's artistry, right?
All right, so that's the story that I write.
Okay, so you have an 8-pip story to add to it. Yeah, wow. He had a bad one there.
Right. Yeah, so once he's done like describing the history of his company to me, I'm basically gonna hand him this short story that in a very like compelling and riveting fashion basically describes the history of his company as like a group of heroes who have braved everything to ensure that that they always made the most profit and that they always served the needs of their people and that they were always the best at what they did and that they're therefore great heroes of merchant kind. And and then I'll explain that, like, I understand that this doesn't carry the same value among your people as it does among the Faythen'oc, but I believe that you appreciate the, I do believe that you appreciate the value of recognition of yourselves, of your ancestors, of your deeds. I believe that that is of value to you here, and I believe it is, and I know it is of the utmost value in Phaethon. And I'll actually take out my short sword, and I'll hand it to him, and be like, just feel the balance on this sword. You know, feel this. It is a remarkable sword, is it not?
It's at this point that he takes the conversation in kind of a right-hand turn, away from talking about the price of selling you his cart and into just questioning you about how to do business in Faythen'oc. He seems really intrigued about the prospect of going down there and doing trade, as he's heard of merchants making an incredible amount of money, but he's just not sure how to go about it. This is him rolling empathy against you.
Okay.
How would you like to answer his query?
Probably directly back with empathy. I do. If anything that I can answer with empathy, I essentially do answer with empathy.
Well, as you saw, if you can counter it in a way that's reasonable, he gets a big threshold penalty to his roll against you.
I mean, I suppose cunning would probably be the easiest way to counter empathy, but I don't think I really want. I don't think that would be what I wouldn't want to mislead or deceive him. I mean, you know, truth teller is like one of my traits. You know, it's just that I feel like crafting an argument specifically to counter him would kind of be contrary to what I do.
Well, and you just used empathy to counter his cunning.
Oh, right. Yeah. So what would counter empathy?
Focus.
Focus. Yeah. I mean, I'm not really inclined to do that.
Okay.
I'm fine with just going empathy on empathy.
So, how are you going to play upon your empathy to turn this back towards getting an ox cart from explaining to him how to do business in Faythen'oc?
Well, I believe this conversation is inherently beneficial to the cause, which is he's already heard that there's a potential to make great riches there. I know for a fact that is true. So all I really need to do is just tell him the truth, and I think I'm telling a pretty beneficial story, which is that I can help you. You know, I can help you steer your business in a more profitable direction. And I can do, and I wouldn't even really. I mean, to me, it would just be he's asked me a sincere question about Faythen'oc culture, which is a topic I'm all too happy to talk about. I'm a chronicler of Faythen'oc culture. It's like the entire reason why I'm here. So if he wants to ask me questions about Faythen'oc culture, I'm happy to answer him.
Okay, if you're answering directly and honestly, that's kind of a focus thing. If you're answering with embellishments that play upon his desires for heroic achievement, that would be kind of an empathy thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. I'll embellish it.
Okay. So a few fancy lies about the greatness of things, a few exaggerations here and there, and you have his head spinning with wild ideas. Let's see how he rolls. And I rolled that in entirely the wrong window. My bad. Okay, he's got 3 successes. Right now you're up by 3.
So I'm just rolling empathy again, right?
Yeah. If you're embellishing, then totally. All right. He's definitely gotten more out of this conversation than you have, and it's a little disorienting that you've gotten so far from the concept of buying his ox cart. Go ahead and take a point to your composure.
All right.
And we'll get back to that in a moment. Draven, you've come down the stairs. Man, what a sight. Your traveling companions are just all over the place. 4 of them are grouped in a table. One of them's talking to some merchants, seems to be negotiating some kind of trade deal. One of them is sitting in a corner with some guy having a hushed conversation. And of all things, Masashi is once again waiting tables. What would you like to do?
Let's see. So the person having the hush conversation is Nergui, right?
Yes.
It's not so much hushed anymore at this point. We're just kind of chatting about local affairs.
And his is one of the tables that Masashi is bringing food and drink to. That and 2 other tables next to it.
Does that include the group? So the group would be, I think I know the group is.
The group is much closer to the bar. They're not in a back corner at all. They're where the light and the noise
out
is.
in the open.
In fact, it looks like Radiako might be trying to get onto a stage to give a little performance with his lute.
Okay. Well, if it doesn't look like, I was gonna just sneak up on the 2 if it looked like they were having a more private conversation, but if they're just chatting, then I don't, in a like audible manner, then I don't necessarily care.
If it's not a secret, I don't care. Fair enough.
That's all it's about. I'm trying to think if there's anything that like. This isn't my forte. I assume I'll just go sit with the group and kind of like just blend in, basically, essentially where like Senlon is, because I know
Okay.
he'll be silent.
You actually end up taking Radiako's seat as he gets up to go perform. You sit down in Senlon's next to Senlon, and many eyes are on the stage in your general direction as he sort of tunes his lute and gets up there. And then he looks up and strums his lute dramatically. We'll get to exactly what happens in a second. Let's see. Heldren, you're in the midst of your conversation when you start to feel belief energy getting pulled towards the stage over near the bar. It's an intense pull. Radiako's on the stage. He's just strummed his lute, and you see belief pulling out of Masashi, Senlon, and Galista. And assuming she's here, Jackie's character as well. And focusing in on his lute. And then, as he strums it a second time, the lights dim. The candles nearly go out, except for a light that's just mysteriously shining down on him from above. And he begins an amazing performance. This is, it turns out, directly targeted at you. You see the belief energy that he's gathering channeled and then being delivered to you as a sort of inspirational psychic boost.
All right.
Floating in the air above the man that you're talking to, you start to see a lot of information about him. text reading out information about his childhood, his fears, his desires, lists of his secret mistresses in various towns, all kinds of information that will be useful to you in basically convincing this guy or exploiting his weaknesses. You're going to be taking... You're going to be getting 6 bonus dice to your next conversation roll with him.
All right. That is excellent. Damn, that is clutch as hell.
He is very focused in his skills. He's not a good combatant. He's a pretty good loot player, but he's not at your level in terms of artistry with your craftsmanship. But he's got a lot of points into potential. So the guy you're talking to is momentarily just entranced by the music. It's like, wow.
Say, yes. Faythen'oc music. It's something else, isn't it? If he even hears me. he may just be dialed in.
He's dialed in, but at the same time you see a conflict erupting inside him. The information is sort of showing you there's a duality in him at the moment. Part of him is just entranced and just wants to go and experience that level of culture for himself. Part of him is trying to calculate how to profit from it. He seems to be trying to figure out how one can sell a song. This is easy if one can play the song, but since he cannot, it's very challenging for him to figure out a way to profit from a really well-written song.
Yeah, I'll just say, you can't profit from a song. You can't, not directly at least, but you can profit from Faythen'oc, or from Faythen. You know, there is a way for you to deal in our goods, and if you're not aware already, you will quickly become aware that our goods are of a level of quality that dwarfs anything found here. And again, I'll hand him my sword, and I'll say, feel the balance of this sword. I bet this is the best sword you've found here.
Dwarfs the dwarfs, yeah.
I'll say this is, in Faythen, this is an average at best sword. This is nothing. What price do you think it would fetch here? I imagine it would fetch many of your weirdly uniform, artless coins, right?
He turns back to you, smiles, and says, "Oh yeah, absolutely. But you do highlight part of the problem. If your people don't deal in coin, what do I bring to trade? I have nothing that I can bring that's of this quality."
Then bring them things of quality.
He's like kind of showing like, what though?
Bring them your finest drinks. Bring them bring them your best foods. Bring them stories of great tales. Bring them artifacts you have uncovered.
I mean, right now my carts are empty. The next thing they're going to be filled with are potatoes. I mean, there's probably going to be some pretty good potatoes in the bunch, but that's a little different than a sword like this, or a performance like that. The performance is still going on. It's absolutely riveting. The lights are dancing around him.
So yes, sure. But next time you come south, bring unique items. Bring items that a Faythen'oc has likely never seen before. And then in turn, tell them that you offer the opportunity to spread word of what they craft far and wide, far beyond the borders of Phaethon.
Now, I'm just as the GM, I'm trying to get a sense on what you're trying to direct this guy to do. You do remember having encountered traders coming north with you earlier, right? Okay, and those guys had traded food, large quantities of just raw food for the good stuff that they brought. Are you trying to discourage him from using that strategy, or are you trying to...
No, I just forgot about it.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, in that case,
generally speaking, Faythen'oc has a perpetual food shortage. It has a lot of great heroes that all want to be dragon slayers and not a lot of farmers. So...
Okay, yeah, that's all right. Yeah, no, I remember we had this conversation and I completely forgot about it. So yeah, bring food. I mean, yeah, Faythen'oc, they may make things of great value, but they still need to eat. Yeah, nobody who turns down food.
Okay, go ahead and make your roll there.
What would I even be rolling there? I'm not sure.
It's a very practical answer, and an honest one. It didn't involve a lot of complicated numbers or figures, so generally I'd probably go focus.
Yikes. Well, this is going to be a rough roll, but luckily I got my 6 bonus dice.
You got 6 bonus dice. It could be cunning if you wanted it to be.
Yeah, but focus is fine. Yikes.
It's a little bit taxing trying to talk his head around the idea of bartering potatoes for magic swords. So you take another point of composure, but in the end you get it. And he trades you for this good advice, one of his ox carts.
All right, cool. And I will leave him with the short story I wrote. And I'll say, when you get to Phaethon, be sure to show this story. This is they will appreciate what this story says of you.
As part of the deal to get the ox cart, he'd like you to engrave the story on a plaque to put on his lead cart.
Certainly, I'll make that engraving during our journey northward, and I will. I assume you have some kind of agent up there that we can return the cart to, right?
He does not. He insists that you complete it tonight before he leaves. It will basically occupy you the rest of the evening, but then you'll have an ox cart.
So okay, yeah, fair enough. I can do that.
Technically, he won that conflict. He just he ended up wanting what you wanted in the end. I
think I came out one ahead, didn't I?
You came out. You did come out one ahead. So you delivered 3. Yeah, I guess you did. You delivered 3 composure to him. He only delivered 2 to you. I think he started with a higher composure than you did, but yeah. Yeah. All right. Does anyone else want to do anything before proceeding to rest for the evening?
Just gonna have some dinner and then get myself sorted. Most of what I want to do is up in the capital, so I'm just here to support people. I'm under the general assumption that everyone is traveling with me to do the thing that I want to do.
No one
somewhere in the back of my mind, I'm completely aware that this is probably not true, but yeah.
All right. Then you all get a rest. This is a quality 2 inn, so it's not fantastic, except for let's let's see. For the first person who checked in, that person got the one luxury suite that the inn has.
That was Draven.
Yeah.
And I assume I'm not resting at all, right? Because I'm just going to be...
No, you're resting. You're just, you're spending the rest of the evening making that, and then you go to sleep. I mean, it's... How long is this epic poem?
It's not that long. It's short enough to fit on an engraving. So
right. So there you go.
Epic haiku.
Yeah.
So Masashi with his coins.
Like, this merchant is good.
Masashi with his coins. Draven with his nice room. Nergui with his new comb of doom. And Heldren with his ox cart. Each of you sleeps a lovely rest and awakens in the morning. The ox cart greatly increases your ability to travel without having to take a lot of breaks, and so you guys are able to go quite some distance. There was another town in between where you could have stopped to rest if you were still on foot, but it is not necessary, and you can just roll straight on through and arrive at the capital if you wish.
Not only do I wish that, I'd like to sleep on the cart if I can.
Rolling through the town, you've sort of come to places where the woods are getting quite sparse. The uphillness of things has been pretty steady, and it's almost getting slightly mountainous. But now that the forests are thinning out, you're seeing lots of well-cultivated orchards, growing all manner of fruits. As you go through the town, you do see sort of up ahead that the road is going up a mountain, not like super steep mountain. We're talking East Coast mountain kind of thing. So, yeah, it's just like a 20-degree upward slope. But in the distance, you do see the sort of hazy smoke, not of a fire, but just of a city that has a lot of pollution. They burn lots of candles, and the candles are not necessarily made of the best wax. Lots of fires at the smithies, pumping out dirty coal smoke into the sky.
Does Faythen'oc have the same thing going on, or do they somehow have like clean forges?
Faythen'oc primarily has clean forges because Faythen'oc, the forges are often lit by their belief in fire.
All right, cool. So it's like, what the hell is this garbage?
You do see lots of workers out in the orchards, and while they are not really chained or shackled in any way, a lot of them do have collars with tags on them. It looks kind of inhumane to treat a person as a pet that way, from the Faythen'oc perspective. But Niguri, you recognize that they're indentured servants, and the tags on them indicate to whom they belong so that they can work in teams without really getting things too confusing. A lot of these guys, they kind of function like, because the different fruits have different seasons, these guys function kind of like migrant workers. It's just that they're not migrating terribly far, and so there'll be groups of them representing an owner, and the owner will make deals to have them go and contribute to harvesting a particular orchard, and then based on how much they harvest, he gets paid out a certain amount. It's reasonably efficient for the way things have to happen with when you have orchards of a lot of varieties. In addition to fruits, there are some orchards that will later in the season be producing nuts as well. A lot of chestnuts, walnuts, that sort of thing. Those orchards stand empty at the moment. No one's trying to harvest from them. And then as you come near the city, you reach a point where, if you wish, you could detour off to an abandoned orchard that you know about. Or you can keep heading into the city. I don't think you've told anyone about the abandoned orchard, so that's on you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna head. I'll let the rest of the group know that we're gonna be taking a little bit of a detour. How's everybody reacting to the workers?
So General C.M. Bichet is totally fine with it. To him, this is part of the order of things, and let's see. Radiaco is poker-faced, utterly. You have no idea what his emotional reaction is. Gallista is enraged and infuriated by the fact that they have people on collars. And you see a seething kind of anger coming out of Sinlin, although he hasn't spoken about it. He seems to sort of share her rage, just in a non-vocal way.
And then you see from Musashi, you see the single tear, just like the.
Yeah, I'm probably along the lines of Senelon, which is it's probably not that hard to deduce if you spent any time around me that I'm very unhappy, but I'm not vocal about it because, well, we're still making up lost time. So.
Okay, I'm happy to pass through here. If we pass near to any of the workers, I'll give them like a signal. I'll just tell them to walk the opal path, just to let them know that there are agents in the area, and that if they're interested in an out, they can contact me. We can't my concern is basically I just want to prevent the Phaethon from just getting super angry and deciding to free all these people, because in that case, like the Phaethon would be making, I mean, they'd be doing the right thing in some sense, but they'd also be making a very significant decision about the rest of these people's existences, basically. So
I assume we were informed at some point that since we were being sent north, that we were going to encounter slavery, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, you were straight up told that the entire reason Daru was going north into the Empire was to combat slavery.
Right. So I assume we were explicitly told at some point that we're going to encounter it, and if we let that get in the way of our mission, we won't succeed in our mission.
It was not explicit; it was implicit, and that they didn't explicitly give you any orders. They just trusted your judgment.
Okay.
And reinforced the idea that stopping Aphthis takes priority.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Helger's not dumb. He can piece that together. So all right. If it was Wuthar, we'd have a problem. but Helger can navigate these waters.
I'm sure I'll remind you in some way if you try to do anything.
No, I'm good. I'm visibly unhappy to somebody who's keenly observing and knows me at all, but I'm not gonna make a thing out of it.
The person closest to snapping is Gallista, but Radiaco seems to have her at least not swinging her spear at people. She's still shouting very loudly her disagreement with the situation.
I explain to her. I just say, understand that these people are indentured for a reason. Some of them are indentured for reasons which you would disagree with. Others may be criminals, and this is their service to pay off their debt to society. I say, additionally, and this is somewhat of the complicated thing about what I deal with, is that while it's definitely not a good thing as an institution, the people that are in this situation do get benefits to their family and their children, and are still technically legal citizens of the Empire. While I generally disagree with the entire sort of premise of the thing, it would be unfair of us to basically free all of these people and thus bring potential suffering onto their families, as well as effectively make them criminals for the rest of their existence. If they wish to leave, and that's the life that they wish to choose, or they wish us to get them out, then we have various options to try and do that, including paying their debts.
Being this far south, too, a lot of these people are just working off a debt. They have a reasonable expectation that within some number of years that it'll be paid and they're done. Whereas, as you get north, you find a lot more of the abuses. The issue here is that the further south you are, the easier it is to escape. So there is, by just natural selection, there's less people here who are prone to want to escape.
Yeah, and there's also, like, the further you get from the imperial capital, the more likely it is those abuses take place. In the capital, people servants in the capital are generally just paying off a debt. It's actually seen as something you can do to buy a house or get like land. Is you just become a servant for 10 years or something to pay. They use it like credit in some cases.
Yeah, the lords here in the south, they're less afraid of imperial ramifications, but a lot of them have kind of over time come to realize that it's much easier for a slave to find some way to brave swimming across the river. Because if they get south into Haipo, they're basically free already. The Haipo's southern border to the Faythen'oc province is virtually unguarded. So yeah, a lot of the activity here is... it's not that it was never corrupt, it's just that the corrupt guys lost all their slaves and thus went bankrupt. There's still, incidents here and there. And your organization does play a role out here. But you spend far more time getting people through the province than actually freeing people in it. And so you take them on the detour. General Saim seems to be the only person that might take issue with consorting with a rebel. Just from a social standpoint.
Okay.
He is highborn. He's generally a rules-following guy.
I mean, is this guy like a known rebel?
Not exactly. It's one of those things where if you get into a conversation with him, you expect that his rebellious philosophy is just going to come out. It is known that there are rebel organizations in this area, but if their exact locations and names were known, they'd have been taken out a long time ago. So their stealth and their keeping their identities hidden has been an important part of their survival.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a question of do you trust Saim?
I'll let one of the stronger people in the group, probably Miles. I would tell Troy if I ever saw him, but about who we're going to see, and that it can be a bit rough around the edges.
I'll hear you.
He's not a rebel so far, but he has strongly non-standard views about things. You probably get along with him pretty well. I'm not so sure about our captain here.
So are you saying this like in earshot of everyone, or did you pull me aside?
I kind of pulled you aside.
Okay, all right. So I say, yeah, that sounds great. It sure seems like if that's accepted, then I'm pretty sure our views are fairly non-standard for these parts too.
Agreed.
Yeah. And so what do you mean by non-standard?
He disagrees with some of the imperial rules. He disagrees with some of the local lords. He has a lot of strong, somewhat abrasive political views, and he's pretty happy to share them.
Is he a criminal?
Not. I don't think he's a criminal.
If anyone ever found out what he did, he'd be a criminal.
I look at you and I say, "Am I a criminal?"
Say, of course not. But it sounds like he's exactly the kind of person we'd have to consort with in order to find this spear that was stolen by bandits.
Agreed. He's also the exactly the person we need to talk to help find this woman who's been wrongfully indentured. I don't think he's a criminal, but our guard captain may disagree, and given his status, that may cause problems for my contact.
Well, our guard captain did agree to come up here with us in pursuit of a spear that is in the hands of criminals. So I don't know who he expected to consort with, but I think he'll learn to live with it.
I'm happy with that. I'm as happy with that as you are.
Alternatively, you could send him away on an errand.
I mean, I can tell this person to be a little bit non-open about things. I don't know whether he'll listen to me or not. I just say I should warn you that if the guard captain does get out of line and is at risk of exposing my organization, I will just kill him.
Tice had a pretty good idea there that he put in the comments.
I mean, Ed just had a better idea, so I mean.
Yeah. I'll say then perhaps we should not bring him.
It's a good thing you're not talking to me. I have a different opinion.
Yeah, but you'd have to actually reveal yourself to express it.
Yeah, I'm not inclined. I mean, I'll go kill him real quick, actually. Let's just go do it. No.
You could always just do your central ear thing again with Marlowe again.
Yeah, just whisper softly into my ear.
Saeem does have his own mount. He's still on his royal riding cat. He doesn't need to be in the ox cart with the rest of you.
Okay. Well.
What is the party decision?
I'll leave the planning up to you in that respect. If you think it's if you think bringing him has a significant risk of him ending up dead, then I'd suggest that maybe we shouldn't bring him, because I do believe he will be crucial to the latter stages of our mission.
We should probably not take him then. There are things that people don't need to know, and if certain people know those things, it makes them a danger to a large number of people in my organization.
So, all right, fair enough. Then
for his own sake, he should not be part of this.
That's fair. Then we should find a means to distract him.
Excuse me. I was wondering, do you know where the market here is? I'm trying to figure out if we're going to be in this town for a little while. I really want to get to know the place a bit better.
You're asking Saeem?
Well, no, to my bard and.
Okay.
Don't
ask us. I'll just shrug. I've never been here. Let's kind of look near Gooey's way. I'll say, have you been here before? Do you know where the market is?
I have not been here, actually. It's my first time as well. In this general area, I haven't been here in a long time in any case. But I assume the market's where most markets are, kind of on the edges of the town. The night market will be in town, probably, if there's a square.
Yeah, perhaps. Has Saeem been here?
Several times, yes.
Yeah, I'll say, Saeem, can you bring Masashi to the market?
Of course. The central market is actually directly in front of the palace. It's been a fixture of this location for quite some time. The palace was built to rule over it, and then the town grew up around it. There are a few night markets that do happen outside of it, but it also is open for most of the evening as well.
Okay, then you can also teach me about this Monet.
Yes. I see you've accumulated a small amount.
Acquired a small amount of this Monet.
I will drop you off, but I must leave you to your own devices, as I have business in the palace. if I'm to discover what has become of the Great Failure.
Yes, of course. We should probably send someone there for that.
Should I ride ahead of you? I can move much faster than the Sox card for short distances.
Sure. Then yes, perhaps you should ride ahead of us, and perhaps we should arrange an inn near the market that we could meet at, so that you can go and conduct whatever business you must conduct at the palace. Then perhaps you could meet Masashi there at the inn.
It is my hope that I will have accommodations within the palace itself. Given a man of my station, this should be easily accomplished.
Wow, all the better.
He's nobility, kind of.
So yeah, I suppose we should just arrange to have Masashi meet, or like Masashi and Callista and Senelon and the other bard and all of them. I suppose we should have them all meet Saim somewhere in the city, right? And then that would mean Draven, Nergui, and I would go and meet his contact.
Let us meet then. The Central Market does have a fountain. Let's meet in front of the fountain at the Central Market. It's near the palace gates.
Okay, excellent. That sounds good. But let us meet there.
And so he offers to have Masashi mount up behind him on the cat, and they dash off for a few minutes and then pause and rest, and then they dash for a few more minutes. Cats, man.
Yeah, I'm
more of a war animal than a than a practical mount.
There's a brief detour where it spots a squirrel, and then he gets control of it again, and they continue.
Yeah, I'll kind of ask Nergui. I'll say, these views that your rough around the edges companion holds, are they likely to offend the Faythen'oc? I mean, I understand that they're a means to an end and a necessity. I suspect Draven would as well.
He dislikes. I just really bluntly, I'm like, he dislikes. He dislikes some of the imperial laws, particularly around slavery. He dislikes a lot of the local lords, and he dislikes the poor being exploited by the weak being exploited by the strong. He dislikes these so much that he's a member of my organization. The difference between him and many of the other people in my organization is that he's very loud about these things.
Yeah, okay. So
whereas I would have a discussion with people, we have code words, we have secrets, we have handshakes, we have signs that we use to identify each other and communicate with friends to get stuff. He's the kind of guy that gets drunk in a bar and then beats up the guards.
What is the likelihood that he reveals things that you do not want revealed about your organization to the other Faythen'oc in our party?
The Faythen'oc have no concern to me.
Okay.
You're not part of this system, and so you're not part of this system. And as far as I can tell, you're somewhat amenable to it. So to our organization anyway. So I have no. Just understand me. We're not a criminal organization as far as we're concerned.
As far as I'm concerned, this land should have more criminal organizations in opposition to slavery.
So we do criminal activities. Some of those activities are criminal because the law is stupid. Some of those activities are actually just criminal activities. But it's an ends justify the means sort of activity. If we have to steal from wealthy slave owners to release slaves and pay off debts, then we'll do so. Not all of us are that way. And in terms of the more sort of dirty things, killing and that sort of thing, it's not something that we do often. So I should say, however, that's not technically illegal either. Like assassins groups are totally normal and owned by many local lords. You have to be licensed for that. So our crime is not killing people; it's that we don't have a license for it.
No hero ever needed a license.
I agree entirely.
So yeah, I don't suspect that you'll find much disagreement among the present company.
Yes, I have no issues with you guys. My main concern is I don't want, if the general is useful to us, then I don't want to put him in any sort of untold danger. If he were to know where certain members of our organization are, he may be able to use that as leverage, and he seems like an honorable man. And I dislike dealing with honorable men. Or women. They're very difficult to work with.
So the only people not going with you guys to the abandoned orchard are Masashi and the general. So Saim and Masashi are going to the market, and the rest of you are going to the ruined orchard. Is that correct? Sounds correct. Okay. All right. So you guys sort of part ways, and you make your way to the spot. You can tell that there once were trees here, but a sickness took them. It's not like entirely burned out, but there was some attempt to use fire to stop the sickness. Apparently it didn't work. It spread past the burned out areas, and so there's a mix of burnt trees and trees that are withered and rotting and falling apart. In the back of all of this mess, there is a house, and let's see. Who has the best notice?
Probably not me.
Oh, it might be. Actually, Draven has the worst notice out of all of you.
Yeah, mine's 2.
What?
Draven doesn't need to notice anything. He's just because he's not there. He's got all the time in the universe to notice stuff.
I have the worst notice?
He just waits until something happens that's blatantly obvious and then deals with it because he wasn't there until then.
Yeah, you have.
Oh, I do. I was confusing it with avoid.
Perception of 1, empathy of 1. You've got a notice of 1. Yeah.
I was thinking it was the other one. I am oblivious.
All right. Well, anybody here can make a notice check.
That's just rolling your notice.
Yep.
I think we could just assume I rolled nothing. Unless, yeah, see, you rolled 2, you're good. You've already done as good as I could ever do. But for shits and giggles. Yes, I don't notice anything.
So close.
Okay, so Nergui, you and you alone notice that there are snipers hidden at the periphery of the orchard.
Is Nergui next to me?
I assume you guys are all traveling together with the cart.
Yeah. So say, is it customary for them to have snipers?
Well, you don't know, right?
Yeah, only Nergui noticed.
I didn't notice. Okay, never mind.
So, okay.
So I didn't ask that question because I didn't notice it.
Do these look like
They look like
friendly
rebels.
neighborhood snipers, or they look like non-friendly neighborhood snipers?
They look like rebel snipers.
Oh, okay, I'm okay with it. I'm not gonna say anything.
All right. You arrive at the house. A man comes out. He's rather shoddily dressed in sort of a what you might imagine is an orchard keeper's costume. He says, "What are you doing bothering me in my ruined orchard? which I am working hard to restore.
I say
There's
the
no
apples.
sign of work at all.
I say the orchard is coming together, friend.
He squints his eye and goes, Nargui. Oh, shit. Is that the name he knows you by, actually?
Probably, yeah.
He calls you by whatever name you go by with this.
He'll know me. Yeah, he'll know me as Yeah, he'll know me as Nergui.
All right, says yes, Nargui. My goodness. Don't tell me all these are runaways. That one looks bigger than a tree. He's looking at Callista.
I say they're all runaways, but a different kind. I travel with a group of Faythen. They're assisting me in an effort right now.
It's good to see Faythen coming to help the cause again.
I have a peculiar case right now that we need to deal with.
Of course. Come in. He motions you in. Says, Faythen again. The last Faythen who helped us did great work. Great work indeed.
Yes, this particular case requires a little bit more tact. Then I kind of look at him for a few seconds, then say, "But I've come to you anyway."
Says, if you need tacks put under their feet, well, I'd rather stick a dagger in their back. Bastards. If only we had that woman and her crazy hammer again. Or that shield. She held that bridge. Held it good.
Then I explained to him the situation. I say, "There's a woman. What was her name? Like Fog Rains.
It's Leaves in the River is her name.
Leaves in the River. Leaves in the River. I've been told that you, by another contact, that you have conversations with her."
Oh yeah, you just missed her. She was here maybe 2 hours ago. Came for some poison. I was happy to give it to her. I'm glad she's finally doing something about that bastard that's been keeping her locked up.
Well, that's interesting. I say she's actually a free woman at this point. She's been subject to some reparations. She's been. We have evidence that she was falsely indentured.
Some of those words hit his brain. He's like, free. Oh, so she killed him already.
Not exactly.
Plan, I think, was to kill him and his wife. Revenge for something. Doesn't matter. Bastard deserved it.
Does she have any other family?
Here?
Other children?
No. Got pregnant once, but it didn't survive. Sad.
I think for a minute, and I say, "Is there a way for me to contact her quickly? I would like to give her a choice."
Well, like I said, just 2 hours ago, she started walking back home. You'll easily catch her if you run.
I will do so. And I.
He points you in the direction of the manor where she works.
Okay, I'll take off heading over in that direction, trying to catch her.
Okay. So
I'll leave the faith in here, unless they want to run after me.
So you just kind of took off without warning. So like we probably were we not expecting you to leave? You just kind of bailed.
You probably overheard the conversation, and then it's urgent, so I'm just taking off. Anyone, I on the way out, I say anyone who wants to come with me is welcome. It's like we have to make good time.
I was kind of shrug, and I'll be like, "Well, our hero's already elsewhere, so," and then I'll start running after you.
And I take off.
Okay. Everybody who's running, we're going to be making athletics checks. This is primarily athletics plus vigor, as you're going across relatively flat terrain at first.
I really should put some points into athletics.
Awesome. This is going to go great. I leave my equipment with the guy.
Okay, I'll give you a couple pips for lightening your load there.
I'll take 2 pips. Didn't help.
So this
What
is
are we rolling? Athletics and vigor?
This is basically a race to see if you can stop her before she poisons her owner. Because if she does that, then the whole point of freeing her sort of becomes moot as she becomes a criminal.
Wait, I'll say, I'll just turn. I'll say, how badly do we need to get to her right now?
I say, panting, I say, my duty is to offer her a choice. I can't do that unless we get to her before she carries out her actions.
All right, I understand. I'll say, Draven, I need you to reveal yourself for a moment. I know you don't want to. Or just check this out. And I'll just show him my tattoo.
The bird on the tattoo looks like it was asleep, but upon being viewed, it wakes up, flexes its wings, and begins to glow a bright golden orange.
All right, there.
And you take off at such a sprint that you could, were you to need to cross a pond, just walk across the surface of the water.
Awesome.
So yeah, you basically see him just supernaturally just rocket off into the distance. I hope he knows where he's going.
I mean, I heard the directions.
Yeah. So yeah, you have directions there.
We have a description. He probably knows what she looks like more than I do.
Yeah. He's
Talk to ghosts and things.
He's actually seen her back when she was younger, 20 years younger.
Yeah. Okay, I will continue to move as fast as I can, which is much like the cat's, short sprints.
And her son is the tavern owner, right?
Yes.
Back in okay.
Her daughter was Autumn Flower, the ghost child.
And what was her son's name? I have it written somewhere. One sec, I'll grab it. Okay, never mind. I don't have it written down. I have Autumn Flower's name written down.
Yeah, Autumn Flower was the tavern owner's sister. I don't have it written down either. We'll call him Rock Without Moss. In the Empire, most people are born with descriptive names unless they're highborn, or until they earn some kind of station or honor. To have a name that is not a description of something but is uniquely you is a really high sign of station. Weirdly, it's become fashionable among lords to retain that name to sort of be a man of the people. Which is why one of the reasons why Lord Hypo was referred to as the Green Branch of Spring. It wasn't just about his spear, but it was also him sort of taking upon himself this affectation so that he would appear to be a man of the people. He was almost certainly not born with that name, as other people would be. He chose it later in life to try and seem more grounded in reality than he really is.
My name in Mongolian means no name, nobody.
Nice.
They're actually Mongolian names. Mongolians have like taboo names. So if something bad happens or whatever, they'll often give some sort of bad situation, like a childbirth or like just in the area or something. They'll name the child something like nobody, because it confuses demons, basically.
I remember when I was in Beijing, I was in the Forbidden City, and they pointed out that like all the doorways, like at the bottom of the wall, was raised up a little bit, like a couple inches. They're like, yeah, it's because demons can't jump. And I'm like, first of all, that's a really weird thing to believe. Just of all the you know, but it's like, second, can't they just like run really fast and just like trip? And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, why am I shit talking this? What good could possibly come of me just like shit talking this stuff standing in the middle of the Forbidden City? I was like,
you're in the Forbidden City, and you're just like you're just like, you're giving them architectural advice. You're like, yeah, I mean, yeah, but I mean, if you know that they can't jump, I mean, there's way better sort of designs. And then you go back
Yeah.
and there's like a knee-high garden wall. You're like, all right, that's better.
Yeah,
that's more
that's-
defensible.
yeah. Just make it something they can't readily fall over. But yeah, but then I was like, yeah, you know, nothing good can come of this. I should probably shut up. So I did.
All right, so you run and run and run and get to a point where you're needing to go up a bit of a slope. The terrain has gotten a bit rocky, but you can see a manor house at the top of it. You also get a glimpse of a woman going through a door at the top of the manor house, or rather, Heldren does, as the rest of you are trailing somewhat behind. Heldren, and for this next one, it is more acrobatic than athletic, but you can still choose athletic if you're willing to take a threshold penalty. The rest of you can roll. You're going to be coming later, but this will determine how much later.
So I mean, I don't see any reason to take a threshold penalty. I'm fine with. I mean, my acrobatics are equally as bad as my athletics, so they're both 0. So I'm fine with doing whatever the situation dictates.
Are you still under the effect of your speed boost though?
I would certainly hope so.
Like you wouldn't be able to use it in an acrobatic sense, right? We talked about that before.
Right. The version of it you chose was for athletics.
Okay, then yeah, I'll take the threshold penalty then.
Okay. So what you're basically trying to do here, I think, is rather than acrobatically bounce from stone to stone, you just want to crouch down and try to basically fly.
Yep.
You want to.
I actually do a better job.
you John Carter of Mars that shit.
Wait, why did I give myself pips? I don't think I should have pips, should I?
No.
Yeah. There's no reason for me to have pips. So yeah.
I can't think of a reason.
Yeah.
Did you get pips from when your tattoo was viewed by a Paythen?
What I can think of is
I got pips for lightening my load.
Yeah, if I'm using quick, shouldn't that cancel out the threshold penalty and make it a T6?
Yes.
Okay, so it'd be 3 successes.
Okay, so not as impressive then. So when you reach the top, the woman has already gone inside. If the rest of you want to also make rolls, right now you guys are, well, let's see. Ed, you're 7 turns behind, and
yeah, I'm pretty shit.
And yeah, Draven is, I believe, 6 turns behind currently. But you guys can make another roll for how well you ascend the rocky slope up to the manor house.
Yeah, I got that one.
Yay! You're only 6 turns behind now.
I'm using Grace, so I failed that roll, but 4 on top of that.
Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, you actually are starting to catch up. So you're only 2 turns behind now. So Ed is 6 turns behind. You're 2 turns behind. All right. So you've reached the top. Heldren has reached the top, actually. The door is closed. The woman has gone inside. This is a 3-story tall manor house. It's got windows on all floors. It's built at the top of this sort of hill, a rocky outcrop in sort of a mountainy kind of terrain. But it's got a pretty good view all around. You see below the members of your party desperately trying to catch up. Somewhere inside this building, that woman is probably getting ready to poison the inhabitants.
Okay. And how far before me did she enter the building? Like, how time-wise, like how long before me was it?
When you reached the bottom of the hill, she was at the top. You took a couple quick jumps. She went through the door and closed it. A couple jumps later, you're at the top. So she's been in for maybe 30 seconds.
Okay. So I'll open the door and just kind of barge in.
You find the door is locked. There is a sort of handle that you could pull that is not part of the door. It's just off to the side. You imagine it rings a bell.
I will ring that, but I'm not going to wait for an answer because I don't expect I'm going to get one imminently. But I will ring it just in case there's somebody, at attention.
Okay. You said you're not going to wait, so what are you going to do after you wait?
Is there a window nearby?
Yes. Both on the floor you're on and also windows above you as well.
On the floor I'm on, I'd like to try to open one of those windows.
Do you want to open it with violence, breaking the glass? This will guarantee success, or do you want to try to pry it open?
I'm a stonemason. I'm a crafty man. I'll try to pry it open.
Okay. How would you like to go about doing that?
So I assume the window is locked.
Yes.
So I'd like to try to use my stone carving tools to just break the lock.
Okay.
Slightly less violent than just breaking the window outright. But somewhat brute force nonetheless.
Also slightly less noisy.
And if I don't have any initial success with that, I will just break the window.
Since you're going to break it, it does not necessarily need to be engineering. Yeah. This could be argued as crafting, labor.
Nothing I have is very useful. I'm just gonna break the window.
Okay. You grab a rock from the ground, you smash the window, reach inside, undo the latch, and open it.
Okay, cool.
It made noise, and you hear some startled shouts from within inside. What was that?
I'll say I come with a message from Rock Without Moss to inform you of a contract that has been violated. You did not answer your door, so I had to enter through your window.
We only just now heard the bell.
It is a very urgent message.
Is it an intruder? And then you hear a deep and rumbling voice in an accent that's all too familiar say, "I'll handle this. Stand back." It's definitely a Faythen'oc accent.
Wow, interesting. Neat.
The man who comes around the corner into what appears to just be like a sort of drawing room, a place where one might hold tea or a cocktail party, or just sit on couches and discuss philosophy. This man does not belong in this room. This man is armored. This man has an axe in one hand and a sword in the other, and he's holding the sword upside down, so blade down. That sword is in his offhand, axe in his main hand. You can tell by his stance. This guy is a trained Faythen'oc hero, and one of the combat kind. His weapons are Faythen'oc make. They're of good quality. His armor is gleaming and polished with all of the artistry that you're used to from your homeland. How this guy managed to hire a Faythen'oc bodyguard, you're not sure yet. But he says behind you, he says, "There's just one of them. I'll take care of him. Go ahead and have tea." And he is advancing on you. You will be joined by Draven in 2 rounds. You will be joined by Nergui in 6 rounds.
All right, I'll say,
And Masashi is finding the market to be very exciting. Oh, he wandered away. Oh, well. I'll let him know when he gets back.
I'll say, fellow Faythen'oc, it's good. It's good to see one of ours again. What brings you here?
A bard here? What's a bard doing breaking into this house? Go ahead and make a persuasion roll to basically persuade him to not hit you. Not being hit with an axe is something that would be great to persuade him on.
I'm going hard empathy here, and I hope he has some.
Masashi, you are having a marvelous time at the market. No one's trying to swing an axe at you at all.
I'm trying to cut these prices in half.
Are we doing the market thing or this thing?
No, we were doing your thing. I was just throwing out some flavor.
All right. I would like to kind of pull out my notebook and just start reciting an epic poem that I've started reading. Basically the poem I've been working on up to this point, and I just want to read like the first couple verses of it, describing how we've been sent forth from Faythen on an epic journey of the utmost importance. And hopefully he cares. Hopefully he isn't like actively antagonistic towards Faythen.
Okay. You're rolling against basically the indoctrination that he has gone under from working for this guy. So this is actually the guy he's working for kind of rolling against you with what he's been taught.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a complete failure. He puts down his axe. He says, "She's in," and goes, "That is an excellent story."
I'll say, "I don't know what you're doing here, friend, but you're better than this. You should come with us."
He says, "Perhaps I will. I feel my debt is mostly paid here."
Yeah. See, that is good. For now, perhaps you could help me to find a servant who urgently needs to hear my message.
Which one? Which servant, not which message.
Yeah. She just came in a moment ago. She is the mother of Autumn Flower and Rock Without Moss. Was I told her name? At some point in the vision, I did discover her name.
You did. Her name is Leaves in the River.
All right, yeah. See, Leaves in the River is her name.
Oh, yes. She's serving tea. This way. He leads you into the tea room where you see her finishing pouring a cup of tea and putting it down in front of 2 very well-dressed people, the master and mistress of the house.
I would like to just upend the tea. Just throw it. Just smash. Be like, this tea is not good enough. This is not Faythen'oc tea.
"Who art thou? Answer for your crimes. Why have you entered my house?" the man says. And then he looks up at the Faythen'oc guy, who does have a name that I totally wrote down. Just gotta find it. I swear I gave him a name. Where the hell is he? There he is! Horgat the Mighty! Horgat! Why have you allowed these people into the drawing room? This must be the other drawing room. He appears to have several drawing rooms. I mean, I understand the tea, poisoning the tea hurting you, like, on a personal level, Masashi, but since it was poisoned, shouldn't it be tossed? Like, at that point, you're like, no, tossing is a waste of good tea. Even though it's poisoned, you can't let that go to waste.
Wait, were we gonna like counteract the poison, turn it into a delicacy? Is it like pufferfish? No, you carefully drink around the poison.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's making an attempt to to get to get Horgat back under his control.
Good luck, dude.
I keep trying to type in the wrong window. Wait a second.
Yeah, I have to keep them open separately, one on each monitor. Otherwise, I do that every time.
Wow, an entire success. This guy
The
is
dice
just
are
having
not
a
favoring this
bad
guy.
day. So Horgat's going to roll against that with his own social awareness.
And this guy's a hero, right?
Correct.
So I can aid him in that.
That is correct, actually. Do you want to aid him before he makes this roll?
Yes, I do.
Go for it.
Honestly, he did not stop you because he is a grand Faythen'oc hero who upholds a legacy that spans an entire civilization and which has never been wronged or let down because we know what we are. Yeah,
do you want to help him with supernatural powers, or do you want to help him by just giving a nice speech?
Yeah. I mean, I would like to kind of throw my potential at him, and basically, I'm not sure exactly how it works, but basically, I'm trying to like pump him up with like a sense of pride in his ancestry, and
So
my assumption is that works, but that works by just rolling your potential. But
yes,
if it works some other way,
no,
then,
that's exactly how it works. Using your potential means you're going to be giving this guy successes.
Okay.
If you were
Cool.
otherwise, you would be giving him pips to affect his dice. But if you're using your potential, you're just straight up giving him successes.
Yep. And I just rolled my 4 potential. I got 1 success.
All right. So you've at the very least counteracted his speech. Here goes Horgat's social awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that worked
You
out.
crushed it. Didn't even need me.
So General Takagama says, he says, nation? Faythen'oc is but a province. The Empire is a nation. And you can see just the fire in Horgat's eyes. He does not like that statement at all.
Wait. This is Takagama's?
Yes, it is.
Oh, holy shit. That's lucky.
Well, that was why you were coming here. Takagama is the master of the river, leaves in the river.
Oh. Yeah, all right.
Your character would have known that before sending the slope. Like, yeah. So Horgat smashes their tea table in two with anger over his country being referred to as a province. Is demanding an apology. Basically, Takagama has utterly failed to control his minion. Off in a corner, you can see that Leaves in the River is preparing another drink of tea. There is definitely something she's sneaking out of her robe to try and drip into it.
I would like to go approach her. I'm pretty sure that this guy can handle himself with dog goes. I would like to go approach her quickly.
Okay.
And I'd just like to say, I know what you're doing. Please stop. We can resolve this. Rock Without Moss sent me.
At the name of Rock Without Moss, she looks up at you. And Draven arrives.
Yeah, I mean, you can just tell her to go outside. I mean, she's indentured servant, but she's not like she doesn't have to do what she's told, right? I mean, there's rules around it, so she can take a break and stuff like that. Like,
I'll say your contract was broken. We can prove it. You're going to be freed. Please just don't complicate this by killing him.
And you can tell her to talk to me as well. That I'm on my way. And
yeah. I'll say we have a guy who specializes in these weird law, all these strange and arcane laws. He's on his way. He'll be here in a matter of minutes. Please speak with him before doing anything rash.
Takigama finally succeeds in a roll and manages to overhear you say, "Please don't kill him." He turns, "Wait, kill who?" At this point, she explodes in rage, says, "No amount of contracts will undo the harm that you've caused for me. You killed my unborn child with your poison, you witch." And she draws her dagger and looks like she's going to try advancing on Takigama's wife.
I would like to step between them.
Good call. Do you want to use persuasion to talk her down?
Yes.
All right. Put some dice on the table, and let's see what you have going. Currently, her argument is she's accusing the wife of having poisoned her after becoming an indentured servant, thus causing her her unborn child to be stillborn. It looks like the past 20 years have just caused more trauma to this woman.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll just say, whatever they've done to you, you have a son who's still alive and who very much wants to see you. And if you go through this, you will never get that chance, and he will never get that chance.
Good argument. Very empathetic. They sent the right man for the job, I think. Draven, you are on the scene if you want to help out. No one knows you're on the scene yet, but you are.
I'm waiting to see if his conversation tactic doesn't work, and if it doesn't work, I'm going to do something.
It is an
sneaking up behind the girl.
It's an interesting technicality, Draven, that if you murder the people instead of her, then she's off the hook.
Am I aware of who these people are?
You are aware, at the very least, that the man is Takagama, who was the person who was trying to invade Faythen'oc and made the attack on Daru's home. You know that he also engaged against Daru with his army on the bridge between the Hypo and the Jaipur provinces. And in both instances, he lost and has been labeled as the failure for his absolute defeat and losing an entire regiment in a single night.
Gotcha. But that tells me most that we need him alive for probably questioning.
He probably knows where the shield went.
Yeah, so I don't want to do anything to him. I'm prepared to dissolve the situation if conversation isn't working.
Basically, you're just standing behind her with a knife.
Granted, if she just said she's trying to kill the wife, I could just kill her, right?
Okay, 3 successes. Let's see. She's already at very low composure. She's being threshold bonused because she is trying to use focus to just power through and do what she's decided to do months, maybe even years ago, that she's finally worked up the courage for. But she falls short. Yeah, sheathes her dagger, she takes a composure damage, and takes a step back. She says, you must promise me that they will get what they deserve.
I'll
This
nod.
two of my children dead by their hands, one for each. Their blood must be spilled.
All right, so I'll take her dagger and I'll walk up to the wife and I'll put the dagger to her throat. And I'll say, well, a deal's a deal. And then I'll look at Takagawa. I'll say, there's some questions you're going to need to start answering right about now.
Ed, you're not there yet, but you're getting close.
I'm running my ass off. I'm gonna get there. My hat's gonna be all like akimbo, and the hair's all out of place. Yeah, but
so 8 hits for threatening his wife.
What would I even be rolling? I mean, I assume I'm rolling persuasion in something. I'm not sure what I'm rolling.
Vigor.
Vigor. All right, fair enough.
You're persuading with a sword, I think, or a dagger. So, yeah. All right, yeah. He's trying to reach into his inner bluster of being a noble and just command you as a commoner, and he just can't pull it off. His wife and being in danger is too overwhelming. So he backs down and says, all right, what do you want to know?
Say.
There's no reason that you should have to hang for this.
Said, I won't hang for this. Say, I believe this will work out better.
No intention of hanging.
Yeah. I know what happened the last time you faced a Faythen'oc. I'm not worried about consequences.
Oh shit, it's more of you. Damn it, I should have known.
I'll say, but I'm still kind of holding the knife to his wife's throat, but I'm gonna kind of back off a little, kind of ease up a little bit, try to make it clear that I don't want to follow through on this thread. I'll say, I know what happened when you fought Dario. I know that it apparently left you ashamed within your society. For whatever it's worth, I think I can maybe somewhat mitigate that shame. But I would know where Dario's shield is.
All right, he sighs, says, I wanted to keep it. I really did. I had a workstation built for it, studied it as long as I could. But in the end, the Emperor's people came for it. It exhibited powers that they said were of a special type. This I knew. I knew there was something special about the Faythen'oc. I just couldn't lay my finger on what it was. Anyway, they confiscated it, took it to the Imperial capital to add to the Emperor's library. I couldn't be certain why. It seemed as if, after we'd pried it loose from the bridge, that it lost most of its power.
Of course it did. The spell was broken.
But there was always some faint residue we couldn't identify, some energy within it. We were never sure what it was. Anyway, with it stripped from me, I have nothing left.
I'll say, well, if it helps, your failure, you did fail, but for what it's worth, no one else would have succeeded in your place. Whoever drew your task was always going to fail.
It was a task I drew for myself, but now you know. Please take the dagger away from my wife.
Say, And on to another matter. The contract with your servant here, it is an illegal contract, the terms of which were never fulfilled. We have somebody coming who can actually explain that. I don't really even know what that means. But those are the words I was instructed to say. There's somebody coming here who will explain all the details of that to you, but you must understand that means she will be coming with us. And I trust your discretion that you will not speak a word of what happened today between you and her. Because if you do, I believe that would be worse for you than it would be for any of us.
You see his arrogance rising to challenge you, and then he sees the dagger again and kind of backs down. He says, I am here under threat. I will cause you no trouble.
So good, because you certainly wouldn't want anyone to know that you've been, holding a servant against the terms of her contract. So, yeah, that's good.
He's just staying silent and keeping his hands where you can see them. And your, let's see, Nergui arrives.
Say, Nergui, please tell him the law things.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
You're so out of breath. Yeah, your
This
hat
is
is
somewhat
disheveled.
of a tense thing. I ignore everyone in the room and just find Leaf on River, whatever her name is. Is that her name?
Yes.
Yeah. And say, I come from the Imperial capital, with legal counsel. I say, and I look at all the nobles and everyone else in the room, the tense situation, and say, interesting. And I say, please come with me. And I look at the owner of the house is currently being threatened, right? Like there's
yes, but specifically his wife is being threatened with the dagger. Yes.
Okay. Well, I look at the owner of the house, ignoring the entire gravity of the situation, and say, as you're the owner of the house, I would ask your permission to take your servant on leave, to discuss an imperial matter.
I have no choice in this matter.
I know, but it would be impolite of me to not ask for your leave.
He gathers himself together mentally, sort of regains a bit of his composure, though not as a stat, just sort of narratively, and says, of course, I magnanimously grant this leave so that legal matters can be addressed, as is proper.
Thank you very much, sir.
I grant this leave to all of you, most especially the man with the dagger held to my wife's throat.
I look around the room. I say, "Thank you, sir. Carry on." And then I take her out of the house to some place where we can speak privately.
Oh, am I aware of Draven's presence here?
Is anyone?
Yeah, I guess that's a no.
That's a question
right.
for Draven.
I think at this point I've left the room and I'm looking around.
Okay. Well, regardless
if there's any possible threats entering this room.
Okay. Well, I'm going to assume at this point that you are here. If Nergui's here, I assume you're here. So I'm going to lower the dagger. We've extracted the person we needed to extract. I'm not too worried about what comes after that.
It's not long before the rest of the group catches up. And when they do, Radiako sort of pulls you aside and says, Horgat is the man I'm here for. I need to spend some time alone with him, and then we will be returning south. Galista would like to accompany you to see to it that justice is done. If you could just please keep her under control and non-violent for me, and then she'll be coming with me too. My mission was to collect Horgat and return him to Faythen'oc so he can be re-indoctrinated properly with our culture.
Yes, that sounds like a worthy goal.
He says, bad things can happen if the two cultures get blended in a single person.
just looking around the house, I'll say, yeah, I could believe that. Yeah, by all means, if that's what you're sent here for, then yeah, by all means.
And so, yeah, you see him just twisting psychic powers around Horgat as he begins taking him down. You have no idea what he's doing. You can just sense on the psychic plane that he's outputting a lot of energy. As he goes and sits down, they have a chat.
All right.
Of course, the Lord of the House definitely wants all of you the hell out of his manor. Though weirdly, he seems to not even be aware that Radiako and Horgat are in the building anymore.
Okay. I mean, I'm not even too worried about them. Like, I'm pretty sure Horgat could take everybody else in the manor. So, cool.
Yeah, you are pretty sure about that. It looks like he and Gallista, if they were in a fight, would cause significant damage to the surrounding landscape. Especially if they got Bard powered.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'll leave them off to whatever they're doing. That's their business. I'm not too worried about it.
All right. So let's see. Nergui, you have leaves in the river, alone to yourself outside the manor. As I guess you guys are proceeding down the path towards the capital city. Or not the capital, but the province capital.
I say, I'm friend, and I come as a representative of the Opal Path. I say.
I've known of your path and your friends, and many times have been offered freedom through that path, but I could not stand by and let these people not see the justice for the wrongs they've done.
I'm not here to take your justice. I'm here to offer you options, I say. It turns out that we have evidence that the terms of your indenture are illegal. Your service was rendered. Your service was given for medical treatment for your daughter. That was not rendered, and so you have been falsely placed into servitude without receiving the agreed upon price. That means that you are free legally, and we can take care of that if you wish. Additionally, you are owed recompense for the time spent. I say, these are options to you. And then I say, I know that you are considering poisoning this man, killing these people, basically, for injustice done to you. It's like, that is another option, and yours. One of them, you will be a criminal. The other one, you will be free, and you will be compensated. I offer you these options, but I can't make your choice.
She stops on about halfway down the path and sits down on a rock to think. Looks up at you. You can see tears in her eyes. Says, all I really wanted was to see my children again. My daughter, my unborn son. I was raped when he brought me here. He raped me. And she, not wanting him to bear the burden of fathering my child, poisoned me, forcing a stillborn. I have much to get recompense for, but I don't want it. I want justice. I want them to suffer the just suffering of their punishments. Can you promise me that?
I say, yes, it will be done. You need not suffer more.
She says, then I am with you.
Good. I say, I will. It's like you are free to go. You do not have to return. If you have any belongings, they'll be taken care of by the clerks. I will take care of the legal paperwork, present the evidence. It's a pretty clear-cut case, so I don't expect any problems. Your recompense will be handled by the courts. It will probably be monetary in nature. I know that doesn't really help very much, but it should at least help you get back on your feet. And then I will see to it that my organization takes care of the nastier bits. And you can go live your life happily somewhere. And free of guilt. I put out my hands and I say, I believe you have a vial.
She reaches in and gives you the vial. She says, "Thank you. And I do long to see my living children again.
Your son
But
is
I am
very
no
eager to
coward.
see you.
And if it can help, I will stay here to see the job done."
As it, you should travel to visit your. You should stay in the city for long enough to have your papers sorted. It shouldn't take very long, maybe a few days. That said, once the papers are sorted, you should distance yourself from here and go see your son. He is interested in potentially doing some relatively crazy things to help you, and it would be a shame if he ended up on the wrong side of the law. As a result of this entire fiasco, you need to lose no more freedoms, I say.
She seems satisfied. She's not sure yet if you're going to use the courts to seek justice or if you're just going to poison them after you get her free. But either option seems to satisfy her, and so yeah, she agrees. Says, "I'll be in town waiting for the papers."
Okay. I head back to the manor and see if I can talk to.
The address that she gives you is actually one of the Spirit Speaker buildings.
Okay, cool. That's a safe place for her. Actually, I head over to the Spirit Speaker place. They're Imperial agents, and I ask. I walk her over there and ask to see their clerk.
Is anyone else going with them as they come down off the mountain into the city?
Probably eventually. I'd like to have a quick sidebar with Draven.
Okay, go ahead.
Say I promised Leaves in the River that we would deliver justice to Takagama and his wife. Does that mean we kill them?
Shouldn't ask me that question. She seemed to have sought them dead.
Yeah. Perhaps we should consult with Nerguli on this. He seems to know the intricacies of this place better than I do.
Actually, I'll take a side movement as she's. I'll say, let's head back to the manor house, collect your belongings, and speak with our people. I don't want you to leave my sight just in case. It's better if we escort you.
Okay, so she agrees and goes and collects a few personal effects that she's kept hidden.
Okay, I head back and see if I can find the other people. See if they're still in a heated discussion at this point. And I'm not sure how you break into someone's house, put a dagger to his wife's throat, threaten him directly, and then just be like, "Cool, my bad." So I'm assuming you guys are still there.
Yeah. Oh, there's zero my bad bet. I'm apologizing for nothing. Frankly, as far as I'm concerned, he's alive because I did that. So he should be thanking me.
Yeah, he's deeply confused. You saved him from being poisoned so that you could threaten his wife with a dagger. It's going to take him a while to sort through exactly what happened.
Did we mention the poison at all? Like, is that even aware?
We didn't explicitly say anything about poison.
Oh, okay,
you just destroyed tea.
Then you
then
ruined his tea
stopped her
party.
again.
I mean, did.
I don't think it would take a fucking Einstein.
Like, we just looked evil. We ruined the tea party, destroyed his coffee table, put his bodyguard against him, and then held a dagger to his wife. That was the sequence of events.
Yeah.
I did at one point mention you don't have to kill this man.
Exactly.
Oh, you did say that. Okay.
No. he's aware that she was
she did
angling
draw
to
the
kill him.
dagger
He's
on
n-
And yeah,
Yeah.
the dagger you were threatening with actually belonged to her. She drew the dagger first,
Yeah.
and you took it from her
Oh,
and
yeah.
proceeded to be even more violent with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's
But
well
there was
aware
no-
that she intended to kill him. He was not explicitly made aware that poison was the means by which she intended to do it.
Yeah.
But he could
We
probably
could
figure
imply
that
it
out.
by then.
Yeah, it's pretty easily
wasn't-
inferred by the fact
I wasn't
that
sure
I
if we gave
smashed-
enough.
Like I started out by smashing the TZ, so I don't think it's too hard to get from point A to point B on that.
That's fair. Anyway,
The building itself is pretty opulent. It's like he's got a lot of money, although there's no workable land here. Like the only nearby orchard is in ruins.
All right. I'm just gonna start engraving something on the wall. Actually, no, that would be too mean.
This is crazy.
Yeah, that would just be too mean. I'm not gonna do that. But
So you meet up with your
If he
dude.
gets.
yeah, I assume we're on our side and Nagui's walking by. So you had just mentioned, should we bring it up with him? And I'll just gesture toward him.
Yeah, like I'm coming back into the manor at this point. She's collecting her belongings and that sort of thing.
okay. Yeah, so I'll just kind of fall in line walking next to you. I'll say, Nergui, we promised Leaves in the River that the Lord and Lady of this house would be met with justice.
Indeed. She is here to collect her belongings, as she is now free to go. She will need an escort to her safe house until the paperwork is taken care of. I'll need to inform the Lord and the Lady of the decision and of the proceedings.
Okay. Well, we have some of our Faythen'oc are venturing south right now. Perhaps they could escort her.
That sounds good to me. I'll need to speak with the Lord about the legal matters. Yeah.
And would there be any particularly negative consequences if we killed them?
I say, for you, yes, there would be significant negative consequences. You'd be a criminal in these parts.
What if they did not know who killed them?
Well, I mean, that would be somewhat interesting, I suppose. I say, in any case, I'll need to speak with him privately to deal with the legal proceedings. Yes.
Would the matter of Leaves in the Rivers having justice restored to her in whatever sense it can be, would that be complicated by either of their deaths?
I will need them to sign some paperwork, I say.
Can you have that paperwork signed now?
That is what I intend to do.
Excellent. Thank you.
I just kind of look at you and say, I'll deal with the situation. And I go introduce myself to the Lord again. I say, so I'm sorry, Your Grace, for such a rude intrusion. Of course, imperial law waits for no one. I'm here to discuss with your house the matter of Leaves in the River.
It says, as this is an imperial questioning, should I have a lawyer present?
I say, if you wish, it will not be necessary. The case is relatively cut and dry. You may wish to have your counsel discuss it, but at this point, we don't intend to have any sort of a trial. You're not under suspicion for anything. You may have a financial duty to this woman as a result, but you are, of course, free to seek legal counsel if you believe that the financial duty is burdensome and/or you acquired this servant under false pretenses, in which case you are free to take legal action against the source of the servant, the source of where you acquired her, basically. That's not the Emperor's will or his concern.
I acquired her from herself.
Very good.
She approached me and offered her services in exchange for admittance of her daughter to the hospital. I saw to it the financing of admitting the daughter to the hospital.
Well, let us all sit down and discuss this legal matter together, I say.
Indeed, let's.
At this point,
I will summon
again,
my
there's
legal
no
counsel.
accusations, just a discussion with you. And I will need your signature to acknowledge that we've had this discussion, of course, but it doesn't imply or admit guilt in any sort of criminal matter. This is not a criminal case.
He smiles and says, "Of course not. But of course, as I'm sure you understand, I will not be signing anything without my lawyer present. Perhaps in the morning we can meet at the courthouse. They have private rooms where we can address this problem with proper legal counsel." You kind of recognize this as a delaying tactic. He can't do it forever. There's a statute of limitations on, or not, there's a limit to how long he can delay signing papers like that. But he does have the right to legal counsel.
Very well. And I'll pull a sheaf of papers out of my pack and say, it's like I'm serving you the evidence of the case so that you have time to understand it. I will, of course, need your signature that you've received these papers. Your seal.
Okay. This may become important later, and maybe we'll just deal with it later, but what is contained within that evidence?
It is information that that basically the terms of it's the term he already has the papers, right? So it's the terms of her servitude, and then the claim that she did not the claim that she did not receive the payment promised. It doesn't blame him for not rendering that payment. It just says that the terms were explicit, that she was getting medical treatment for her daughter, and that medical treatment was not rendered. Again, it doesn't blame him for not rendering the medical treatment. He wasn't the doctor.
Do you, and this is important here, when you guys were in the hospital, did Heldrum keep the hospital records that he picked up?
I mean, I keep pretty much everything in my journals, so probably.
Yeah, well, you translated some of them, didn't you, into your journal?
I know you. Yeah, you were reconstructing the fragments that had been damaged, and you managed to get a lot of information about the various patients that were there. I wonder if that information is contained in his evidence pile.
No, we're just making the accusation.
Okay, cool.
Are you talking about like the original document?
The original document was in tatters, but you had a reconstruction that you'd made.
Okay, because yeah, even if the original document wasn't in tatters, I probably would not have brought the original document with me, but I would have documented what it said.
Okay, cool. But that is not contained within these papers. Very good. All right, noted.
I say, sir, could I speak with you frankly and privately?
Are we not speaking frankly?
I say, I may need, as you probably know, my interest is not in people. I am not concerned with bringing people to justice. I am concerned with enforcing the imperial law. The law is the only thing that is of any concern to me. You are not of a concern to me, and again, you're not a suspect. You're simply someone who's embroiled in this. Given the evidence that we have, which is relatively overwhelming, you will almost definitely be required to compensate your servant for time falsely served. That said, and again, as a matter of law, I think that's the correct thing to happen. However, I'm not entirely convinced that you are culpable for this. Again, it's not something that I really should concern myself with if I were just concerned about taking care of this case. But again, I am not a lawyer. I am an imperial scholar, I say. And as a scholar, it interests me that the law is handled appropriately, not just in spirit, or not just in rule, but in spirit. If you don't wish to participate or cooperate with me, I understand that, and we can resolve this in the way that I know that it will happen. But if you're willing to cooperate, perhaps we can go a bit deeper.
Well, certainly, tomorrow morning, you shall find me very cooperative in the presence of my attorney. You must understand that while I'm certain your motives are pure, since the system is by design adversarial, I cannot necessarily trust things that you say yet. But under the advice of my counsel, that may change.
A suspicious man, I say. That is wise. I give him the paperwork, and then pull out basically a ledger, and pull out my seal, and say if you could make your mark here to indicate that you've received the papers that I have served to you, and then we will speak with this tomorrow.
All right, and he makes a mark and covers it with the words "received."
Okay.
He is deeply paranoid. And you kind of all pick up on this. There's this underlying paranoia that everything in this man, so much has gone wrong with his life that he has very real evidence that everyone's out to get him.
I certainly.
Every endeavor that he's ever undertaken has been a disaster.
I say, very well. Then I will meet with you tomorrow with your lawyer, I say. I am, I look at the broken tray, and I say, I am absolutely exhausted. I say, I've run all the way here, been moving around all over the place. Life of a traveling scholar. I was like, could you suffer me for a few more minutes for a cup of tea? I say, and we can speak of something less serious, like the cherry blossoms this time of year.
If you want to try and make a persuasion roll to try and force your way in, but he is currently not in any way amenable to continuing to have company, considering that the company has thus far broken a window, smashed his table, threatened to kill him, threatened to kill his wife, and yeah, and he seems to just be barely getting away with existing currently. So
fair enough. I'll take my leave.
Oh, and they turned his bodyguard against him. Yeah.
Okay, I'll take my leave.
All right. And you guys begin heading down the mountain into the town. Meanwhile, Tice, this market is just freaking amazing. I want you to, if you're there, hope you're there.
I'm here.
Excellent. I would like you to go ahead and roll a trade plus empathy, and then you may add as many successes as you have coins in your pouch that you wish to spend. The result will be the quality of the ingredients that you find.
Okay, so I'm going to be spending all 6 coins to get 6 successes to that first.
Awesome.
And I'm going to roll it as well. Since I
Bear in mind that it is not possible to get something above the quality 10.
I know. Can I get more stuff, I guess? Or like different things then if I get...
Yes, you could. You could split it amongst multiple ingredients if you wish.
And as usual, does sight and taste help with this, or just...
Yes,
or
they do.
smell?
You were very specifically looking for ingredients to make your tea better. Okay, so you have found some quality 7 dried fruit that will add intense flavoring to whatever you choose to add it to.
Well, I'm also adding the. You said it was 6 successes from the.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's actually a total of 13 successes, which you may divide however you wish among as many ingredients as you wish. And yeah, just record on your character sheet whatever you want to have found. The dried fruit here is amazing.
Yeah, for quality ingredients, if I get several different items, I can just spend an extra 1 survival on each, or whatever. Was it?
Yeah, you can spend survival on each ingredient if you want to raise your quality.
Yeah. Oh, I meant trade on it. Yeah, but same thing.
Yeah. God, that's right. You've got that trade power too. This is a really well-designed character. For everyone else, and also Masashi will eventually get caught up in this group. So you guys meet up at the fountain, and then, including the general, who says that he has arranged for a meeting with the magistrate, and with the Lord, actually, of the province. He has meetings with both of them scheduled for tomorrow for you, as well as accommodations within. But you guys do need to proceed to the House of the Dead, where the spirit speakers make their residence. There they have a place that they've already set up for Leaves on the River. But before they even do that, as soon as the Faythen'oc step into that building, all of the spirit speakers turn to face them and kneel.
Neat.
You recall that you guys gained a renown when you finished with the hospital. That renown was not for anything going on in Hypo. The spirit speakers reveal that when you freed the spirit of one of their greatest members, that it was felt throughout their order. And that she told them of your great deeds in helping her, and also of the crimes that Hypo had committed. And so they are honored to have you as guests. And that's where we'll pick up tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, next week. It'll seem like a couple days to viewers, except it won't. So, right. Next week, that's where we'll pick up. Go ahead and do closing ceremony.
Okay, I'd like to give one to Marlo for just like running into a place and be like smacking into you, being like, "No, don't drink that. That's filthy swine." And me and the disc going, "Oh, my heart, she burns." I like to give one to Echelon for just basically being the super tired guy, just being like, "Why is this place so far away?" I must keep.
Dwarves are more natural sprinters.
And I like to give one to Sir not appearing in this film, for basically just being like I'm not even sure, like, just for what he hasn't done yet. I just feel like they're gonna, like, next episode they're gonna be like, we're gonna wait. He's gonna Margot's gonna wait for him, the guy in the place, and they're gonna be like, oh, sorry, him and his wife were found dead in his house.
Spoilers.
That's me, everyone.
Yeah, so Tice for being the ever servant. Even yeah, I mean, like, basically you're just like, I just want some ingredients, and then the person in the kitchen was like, oh, okay, you want to work for your food? All right, we'll give you some work to do. It's like, I just want ingredients, And just like, yeah, I don't really. These tables need to be worked rated on. You're like, oh, okay, I guess I'll go wait the tables then. Troy again for just not being present for like one day I'll meet you and we'll probably like each other. And then Miles for doing it basically just that entire situation escalated very quickly. Like, I mean, it went from whew, I'm tired to like the bodyguards attacking you to the bodyguards on your side to you have a knife at someone's throat and are threatening them directly. That was just a rapid escalation. Yeah.
It's great. Here I'll go. Heldrin for outpacing me. Damn your tattoo. But being the one to sprint ahead and handle the situation and be there first. Also flexing off the tattoo every chance you get, which is pretty great. Sashi, I'm jumping onto the working. You're working at every single inn we go into instead of us going to the inns to sleep, which is the normal thing. You just immediately start working there. And usually, yes, you're trying to get ingredients, which is a good tactic, but I like that it kind of blew up this time and you just you made money, which is cool. And you ended up turning that into ingredients anyway. Nergui, definitely for the, if he comes along, I may kill him. You always say a phrase that is my favorite thing of the session, essentially. So I'm very glad that the captain was around for you to utter something like that. And I assume I was basically listening into I wanted to be listening into the conversation, and I'm like nearby. So I do actually want to like post up and monitor the house over the evening because the person seems super paranoid and just kind of want to watch in case something funny goes on. But like that's a whole aside. Probably nothing will come from that.
All right. So my first point goes to Masashi for, I feel like, inadvertently discovering the purpose of currency. Where you're like, I want ingredients. Like, no, we can give you money. What good is money? It's like, it can be used to purchase ingredients. And I'm sure to a Faythen'oc, this seems like a needlessly complicated and just like overwrought process. But in some weird fashion, you do seem to be uncovering what coins are for, or like what an economy is. And then for Draven, so you arrive at the manor. You come into the situation where there's like this random Faythen'oc you've never seen before, and the windows smashed, the tea set smashed. I'm holding a dagger, and you're like, "Nah, this is too low stakes. I'm gonna go check out everything else," and just immediately redirect to exploring the rest of the manor to see if there's anything cool there.
It's like, yeah, they got this handle in here, obviously.
Yeah, obviously this is all going to plan.
I mean, to be fair, I just wanted to look for like potential threats coming into the room.
Yeah. And then to Nergui for starting to really, you've kind of hinted at it in the past, but this was kind of the first time that I think we've overtly gotten an indication that there's a real willingness to get your hands dirty. You mentioned offhandedly a couple times, like, yeah, like the dirty parts is, yeah, will be taken care of, and I think it's something that I already kind of knew from reading your character sheet, but it's something that on a role playing character level I didn't really know before now, so it's cool to see.
Is that everybody? Awesome. All right. Thank you guys. That was a wonderful session. We will pick up again next week and continue.
Cool. Sounds good. Have a good night, guys.
Yeah.